Yeah. No, there's like, okay, it's thick. Their surf is thick with bait. This is it. Get down there with a cast net and get yourself some finger mullet or whatever else is running down there you can get your net on because it's thick. I was throwing some frozen shrimp and I was throwing some cut mullet before I caught myself some fresh bait, and the blues weren't having it. And as soon as I put on some fresh mullet, boom, boom, they were like one after another. It's thick, the bait's thick, and they're like, I ain't eating no frozen shrimp. Not when there's some fresh bait down here. You better throw me something fresh. So get your cast net, grab a hook and a line. Let's hit the surf. Let's get some blues. All right, before we get into fishing, I want to just show you some of the destruction that's left over from the hurricane. This is from last week, and you can see some of the mess that's still left from this hurricane we had. Like, look at this pool. That's cement on the floor I'm stepping on there. This pool must have lifted up right out of the ground, and all the cement around it cracked. How crazy is that? I bet there's some fish in that pool. I could probably fish in that. And all along the stops where you park, this is all parking. It's just piles of sand, and you can see the trucks are coming in, trying to pick up the debris. I mean, the West End is still pretty much a big mess, but they're really getting it cleaned up. Here's some more trucks. They got the double trucks. They're just cleaning up. And as I'm driving down the road, you can just see like piles of debris. See, look at that. Just in front of people's houses and just messed up everything. And over by the Elks Lodge, which is right here, they've taken a lot of the garbage and piled it there so the trucks can just pick it up. I mean, look at this. This is all debris from the West End, all left over from that hurricane. That was a strong storm surge that came through, and it really made a mess. I mean, just sand piled up for miles. But they've been doing a great job cleaning it up. So I've been able to get down to the West End, and there's been bait in the surf. And I got my cast net here. Now, it's really hard to do this in the wave. You can see the bait in the wave, and you got to pull it in as the wave's crashing around it. And it makes it really difficult. So this took me like 3 times, but I finally landed on a school of bait. Great, nice size, big finger mullet. Like, look at this net full of them. And, well, one's not doing too well, but the others are doing all right. And, of course, they're trying to jump out, and you're trying to put them back in. So the first day I was down there, and I actually just had my shark rig on. So I'm like, a 5/0 hook, blues will take that. And I hooked him in the tail, and I'll tell you why. And there's the first blue I got right on it. See, I told you they don't mind that 5/0 hook. But I hook them in the tail because I found that they were biting the bodies off and just leaving the heads, because I originally had hooked them in the head, in the upper lip through the top of the head. And my neighbors here were catching fish too, and they caught this blue, and they didn't want to keep them. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that. That'll make some nice fish tacos. I mean, they did a great, that's a nice blue right there, right? So they're definitely taking the live bait. I'm going to tell you, he wants to touch it. Yeah, just touch that end. Don't touch the mouth, right? Definitely taking the live bait. And that's the thing. And even some flounder coming up. We measured this one. We're looking for the right size, 14, just 14 inches. And he's like, you want it? And I'm like, nah, let's let it grow. I got the blue. I'll keep the blue. So he's like, all right, you sure? I'm like, yeah. So he let it go. So you guys can still get that one. Now here's the other way I'm hooking them. I got this other rig which I made, and this is sort of like a kingfish rig. I'm putting one through the lip like I was talking about before, and then I got the other hook, and this is on steel leader, and I'm putting it back in the tail. So that works sort of like a stinger rig, like a kingfish rig would have a stinger rig. And now this way, if they come up and they bite it, no matter which end they take, I'm going to get the fish. The only bad thing about this is you can see when I made this rig, I made the length of that too long. So there's a lot of extra wire hanging out. But it didn't stop the blues. They still took it. Here's the other rig I had, the third rig I had. Same idea with the stinger rig, but this was using treble hooks. I really like the circle hooks better. I don't have to work as hard, I guess. And that's what I was catching them mostly on, was a circle hook. So here's another one I got. And this was definitely on that rig with the circle hooks, with that stinger rig. And it was just a nice blue. I could feel it. Now, blues, like, they pull, they fight, they tug, they tug, they tug. You got to keep the line tight. I did lose a couple because I wasn't keeping the line tight. So that's definitely a trick you need to remember to do, because they will shake off that hook real quick if they get an opportunity to. But there you go. He's a nice size blue. I'll take him any day of the week. Make some more fish tacos. Now, remember, you can only keep 3 blues now, so you got to be selective about the ones you're going to keep. Now, this is Kevin. He's been down for the week fishing, and he was throwing a lure, and he wasn't having any luck. I'm telling you, they only like the live bait. I was throwing some shrimp. I threw some cut mullet. They had nothing. But he did catch something on his lure. Look at that. He caught this beautiful, I think that's citation. He thought so too. So citation snorkel right there. But I'm telling you, the live bait's the way to go. The bait's thick, and I think they're, like I said in the beginning, they're not interested in the frozen bait. They're not interested in the cut mullet, but you put a live mud minnow on there or finger mullet on there, and they're just going for it. So here's another one. And at this point, I already had my one. I was only going to keep one. So I'm going to let him go and let him go swim off and come back as a chopper someday, like maybe something bigger than, these are all between, I reckon 14, 16 inches, something around that, a little bigger than 12. Good fight, like I said. So I took him home and I put him on. I got a cedar plank from Lowe's. I put a little salt, a little pepper on that, and then I take that cedar plank and I put it out on the grill for about 15 minutes, and it cooks up, and real nice flavor, and make some fish tacos. Meanwhile, I do have a garden with some habanero peppers, so I'm grabbing myself a really nice habanero pepper. That's going to go in my fish tacos too. So we get on the grill, cooking up the fish on the plank, cooking up that habanero, and we're going to bring it inside, and we're going to make some yummy fish tacos. Now, I only like to eat blues when I catch them that day. Some people say they don't like blues, but if you make them fresh that day, they're delicious. So we got here our fish tacos, some butter for our crabs. We got some pico de gallo, some lime crema. We got the taco shells. We're all ready to go. So get out there, get yourself some fresh bait, and catch some blues. Bring them home. There's my habanero ready to go. Have a side of crabs, and you're going to be stoked. All right, we'll see you out there in the surf.